My name is Darryl Kwao. Thanks for being with us. Tonight, some tourism industry players have been speaking about how the sector can best be managed to improve performance. This follows a maiden report by the Ghana Statistical Service on domestic and outbound tourism sector in the country. Speaking to Joy Business, the Public Relations and Marketing Manager of Jumia Travels, Bennett Otu, identified some factors hampering the development of the sector and suggests ways by which the industry can be effectively managed.
Tourism continues to be a significant contributor to national development in Ghana. It is a major source of foreign exchange earnings as well as employment. According to the Domestic and Outbound Tourism Report issued by the Ghana Statistical Service for the year 2015, Ghanaians are said to be spending more time and money on funerals than on leisure. It says 24.3% of total expenditure of domestic tourism is spent on funerals as compared to 2.9% on leisure. The report reveals domestic and outbound tourism constituted 698.4 million cedis. Public Relations and Marketing Manager of Jumia Travels, Bennett Otu, outlines some factors that have contributed to this development in the sector.
Traveling from Ghana to, let's say, a country like Dubai is actually cheaper compared to traveling from Accra to, let's say, Tamale to spend a week. If I want to give you exact figures, there are packages that allow people to travel from Ghana to Dubai for around $1,200, $1,500 US. Now, the same $1,500 US can take you from Accra to let's say Zena Lodge or to another 5-star hotel or 4-star hotel in Ghana, but you would spend more there because apart from the room that you are paying for, apart from the hotel fees you are paying, you would have to buy food for yourself. You have to pay for every activity you undertake.
Bennett Otu suggested some solutions that could go a long way to boost tourism penetration in Ghana.
We've heard that government is gradually reducing some taxes, and that's going to translate into reduced overhead costs for these hotels and these other hospitality ventures that are around us. That is good. But I think that let's try as much as possible to put government on the side, because we have a responsibility. First of all, if government reduces the costs and then the hotels are cheap, but we still don't have that culture of traveling, we are still not interested in traveling, in tourism. We've not painted that image. We've not created an atmosphere of travel for anybody. The taxes can reduce, the rates can reduce, but nobody will still go.
He is, however, optimistic the tourism industry would see a major boost by the end of the year if some solutions are pursued.
I think that this year, tourism would get a boost. Tourism will get a major boost because of the plans and then the activities that have gone on. This year we've had 2 big international events being hosted in Africa for the first time in Ghana. So it threw a lot of light, a lot of attention on our country. We had the World Tourism Forum and then we had the Air Show recently. Now, these events are big. They've been done elsewhere around the world. This is the first time it was brought to Africa. So we had international media throwing more light on Ghana, people who have never heard of Ghana, hearing about Ghana, people wanting to visit. I've had a few requests from people asking, what do you have in Ghana? What can I see when I come to Ghana? So yes, we see the interest there. We see the policies being put in place. We see a lot of energy in the tourism sector. We see the drive. Most importantly, Doomsaw, as we put it, has more or less stopped.
The number of annual international visitors to Ghana, according to the report, is about 950,000 and is expected to grow to 1.5 million by 2024.
In other news tonight, government is bent on harmonizing finances of the energy sector to avoid a recurrence of the sector debts, which now stand at about 10 billion cedis. That's the assertion of Deputy Energy Minister Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam. Government last week failed to raise the 6 billion cedis targeted for the 10-year bond to help clear the debts and has now extended the offer period. In an interview with Joy Business, Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam noted that the introduction of the cash waterfall system, among other interventions, will ensure all players in the value chain of the energy sector have improved balance sheet.
The government has announced a number of interventions to address the financial challenges facing our utilities. The energy bond is one initiative, one big initiative that will clean the balance sheet of the utilities and put them back in business, so they can be able to deal with their creditors, they can be able to buy crude oil, they can be able to pay for the gas, which is sold to them both by the West Africa Gas Pipeline and then by Atuabu Ghana Gas. And therefore, if we sanitize their balance sheet, it is important we do not accumulate new debts. This is why government has announced an additional initiative, a measure that we call the cash waterfall system. The cash waterfall system is to ensure that cash flow is not restrained, it's not constrained. Therefore, once ECG makes the collections, there is a formula by which every player in the value chain will have their fair share of the revenue, so that nobody is found wanting. Nobody goes to buy light crude oil and is not able to find money to pay. And so we need the cash to flow through the value chain. VRA should get its cash for selling power to ECG. The light crude oil suppliers should get their cash for selling light crude oil to ECG. The banking sector, which is most affected by the legacy debts, they also need to be revived because the non-performing loans are quite huge, and that is reducing the competitiveness of the banking industry. And so if the bond clears the debt, the banking industry is going to be revived, and so that they are in a better position to lend out more money to those who deserve or who need it. So government is not just bringing the bond, we are also implementing a cash waterfall mechanism to ensure that there is no further accumulation of debts. The third arm of the intervention is ECG itself, because if we're talking about ECG collecting and sharing the revenue among all the players in the value chain, and ECG doesn't collect much, then you will accumulate new debts. And so government is concerned about the revival of ECG. The business model we want to introduce through the Millennium Challenge Compact is going to position ECG to become financially viable, to become efficient. And in addition to this, government is working with ECG to roll out, revenue improvement measures.
In another development, Deputy Energy Minister Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam has been shedding more light on the LPG promotion policy of government and the cylinder recirculation model aimed at improving safety in the downstream petroleum sector.
The LPG distribution policy, which we call the National LPG Promotion Policy, it is not about cylinder recirculation alone. It deals with the entire LPG value chain, from the processing of LPG through to transportation of LPG, through to the utilization of LPG, because we want to be able to increase LPG penetration to about 50% by the year 2020. And we should be able to go up to 100% over the next 6-8 years, because this is the cleaner fuel that we have in this world, the most clean fuel, and we want Ghanaians to be using the cleanest fuel. And so it's not just about cylinder recirculation. The cylinder recirculation is a model, it's an instrument to just implement an aspect of the LPG promotion policy. And so we shouldn't confuse the LPG promotion policy with the cylinder recirculation. When you have a policy, you then have instruments or tools for implementing various aspects of the policy. It borders on safety, it borders on health, it borders on security, then it borders on the distribution of the LPG itself. And so the cylinder recirculation model is addressing the LPG distribution challenges to make it more efficient and to make the consumer the king, in which case you don't need to go looking for LPG stations to fill your cylinder. They have to bring the cylinder to you, filled, either at a distribution center or to your home. We want to make the consumer the king. And if you make the consumer the king, we can then hold responsible all those who are involved in the distribution chain to ensure that there is safety, to ensure that the cylinders are maintained well, to ensure that we avoid the accidents. And this is also to address safety, because we have, understand, about 600, LPG distribution centers, outlets around the country. And so if we decongest our country with the many stations dotted around through the development of huge LPG refuel stations, or what we call bottling stations, who are dotted outside the population centers, and that are also few. Then we are able to manage them.
We are turning to the extractive sector because government is advocating measures to improve upon the local content policy in that industry. This follows concerns from captains of industry about insufficient investment incentives for SMEs. Joy Business caught up with the Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Barbara Otin-JC, on the progress made in diversifying the economy through the mining sector. She spoke to my colleague Charles Aite on the sidelines of the launch of the National Suppliers Development Program.
First of all, help us understand the urgency of this very launch today.
Thank you very much. I think that this program is long overdue because the mining sector plays a very significant and important role in our economy. But we realize that we are not deriving the full benefits of it because we are not embedding it in other sectors of the economy. So what the National Suppliers Development Program seeks to do is to ensure that we bring on board other sectors of the economy within the value chain of the mining industry, such that we will have a wide range of suppliers providing services to the mining industry. Currently, we have a list of about 19 products on a procurement list, which the mining sector procures locally. But we want to go beyond that to build a wide range of services and products which the mining industry will procure locally. And this will build our small-scale SMEs in the country, as well as ensure that we build up the One District, One Factory, which the government is promoting. Through this, we will have a wide range of local industries to support the mining sector and to build our local economy as well.
Beyond this, of course, the Africa Center for Energy Transformation has issued a policy document, a document in that regard, concerning the issues related to the mining industry in terms of local content participation. And we've realized that one of the key challenges is the insufficient supply of incentives for local investment. What do you make of this?
I think this is one of the issues that we need to deal with because the local suppliers need to be incentivized in order to build their capacity. And this is an area that we are going to negotiate with the Ministry of Finance to ensure that we support our local industry to the stage where they can provide the necessary support to the mining sector.
Many thanks for your time, ma'am. So that was the Deputy Minister for Mines and Natural Resources explaining to us the urgency regarding the very launch of the National Suppliers Development Program here at the Labadi Beach Hotel.
We'll still stay with that event because speaking at the launch of the National Suppliers Development Program, we've been reporting about President of the Ghana Chamber of Mines, Kwame Adokufo, impressed upon government the need to prioritize the local content policy in the mining sector.
The sector's contribution is most pronounced in monetary creation of multiplier contributions to the economy. Indeed, in 2013, the Chamber and the International Council of Mining and Metals engaged Stuart Red Queen and the African Center for Economic Transformation to undertake a study on the life cycle contribution of the mining industry to Ghana's economy. The findings of the study suggest that Ghana's mining sector contributes about 3.2% to the GDP of Ghana. In monetary terms, we're looking at about 1.5 billion at that time, the report said. It also revealed that demand for goods, excluding diesel and electricity, by producing member companies of the Chamber, averaged more than $1 billion in each of the last 7 years. Indeed, diesel and electricity put together account for over 600 million, in addition to that. In order to maximize the opportunities inherent in the value chain of the mining industry, the Chamber in 2014, and this shows that the Chamber has been at the forefront of thought leadership around this issue for many years. In 2014, we collaborated with the International Finance Corporation and the Minerals Commission to identify inputs used in our operations that could be produced competitively in Ghana. This culminated in the publication of the first procurement list for the mining sector later that year, 2014. In 2015, that list was refined and is the current legislation guiding local procurement in Ghana. In all, we are expected to procure 19 items in country from suppliers and manufacturers. According to the Minerals Commission, mining companies spent $395 million on procuring these items in 2016. That's the 19 items. Of this amount, and this is important, $207 million represents the value of actual procurement from local manufacturers in Ghana. And I'll take the liberty of mentioning some names. PVC and HDPC pipes from Interplast, lime from Commerce, grinding media from Waffle, explosives from Maxam, all produced in Ghana. And there's more opportunity to grow that list.
So we are getting some reaction from the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, GIPC, to Ghana's performance on the latest World Bank Doing Business report. It says that it only highlights the need for all actors and agencies to expedite action on the ongoing reforms in the business environment. According to the center, government is expecting the new initiatives to reflect positively in Ghana's performance in the next report. Chief Executive of the GIPC, Yofi Grant, explains to Joy Business the outlook remains positive for the country.
On the face of it, of course, it is a bit worrying for us because that's not where we intend to be, and we need to do much better. But if we compare ourselves to Nigeria, which went up 24 places, but they're still at 154, whilst we are at 111. It's also an issue of relativity, because although we are reforming, others on the continent are reforming faster than we are and taking more aggressively. We actually dropped in only one indicator, and that is one of solvency, setting up and resolving a business and bankruptcies, etc., etc. So although in Ghana the banking sector and the banking laws have a way of dealing with it, on the broader business environment and ecosphere, that is not what it is. But interestingly though, and as we walk in here in Dubai and engaging with investors minute by minute, Ghana is still the cynosure of the eyes of many investors. I mean, everybody says Ghana is the place to be and want to know what's happening in Ghana and how to get into the action and the development action. So I believe that we are still very attractive, and that is based mainly on a number of things. One, we are in the center of the world. Two, we are peaceful. Three, politically very stable, and a government committed to change and transformation. So that is very important for us, and we need to aggressively address some of the reforms that would eventually make us the best place to do business in Africa.
Time to bring you our interview of the day, and Chief Economist for the Africa Center for Energy Transformation, Eaase, has urged government to diversify the mining sector if it seeks to maximize revenue in that sector. Ghana's extractive sector has over the years been faced with some grave critical concerns, with the menace of illegal mining and overexploitation being major setbacks. Joy Business spoke with who believes concentrating more on local investments in the mining supply chain will go a long way to firm up the prospects in the sector.
Interview of the day.
We need to be able to get to a point where our minerals and oil and gas are really integrated into the economy and help spur economic transformation, economic business opportunities and industrialization in other parts of the economy. There are two critical areas here we need to focus on. There's the local content. How much is the Ghanaian participation in the inputs that go into our mines in an oil and gas country. We're talking about just apart, when we talk about employment, quite apart from low-skilled employment, do we have Ghanaians in the technical and managerial aspects of it? Do we have Ghanaian firms that are supplying the inputs that are needed? Not just Ghanaian firms that are fronting and importing, that are manufacturing things, that are supplying to the minerals. That we have professional services firm, engineering services firm that are designing and basically helping drive the industry. Downstream, are we able to have Ghanaian-owned businesses that are taking off? This is just we're talking about basically value addition. That are taking off some of these minerals and using either in aluminum or so just building industries. For instance, aluminum could further process into our building and construction industry that will provide a lot of jobs in construction and also manufacturing.
With the budget being about to be read on the 15th of November, speaking from a technical point of view, what specific issues do you wish government tackles in this upcoming budget regarding the mining sector?
Well, I'll hesitate to go there. I think I will wait until the budget comes, because I'm not really involved in the budget.
Your expectations?
But my expectation is that out of this, the minister, the deputy minister for mineral natural mines and natural resources, and also the deputy minister for trade and industry elaborated a number of government programs aimed towards trying to provide local content and value addition, not only in the mineral sector, but in other, to try to build Ghanaian supply platform. I hope there will be a concrete allocation in the budget for those, for the ministries to actually work with the private sector to actually go beyond talk and plans to actual implementation of programs.
Interview of the day.
And that's it for Business Live tonight. You can always keep up to date on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. An important story you may want to read: 192 out of 462 business plans commercially viable for one district, one factory. That's according to the Trade Ministry. You can get plenty more on that if you visit our website, and also catch up on all the videos from our bulletins. That'll be it for the program. My name is Daryl Kwao. We'll see you same time tomorrow.